What if the person who gave your life meaning wasn't even supposed to be yours? Ethan Cole, a billionaire known for numbers, not emotions, thought his future was set until a ragged little girl walked into his hotel room and shattered every rule he lived by. Now, just as he begins to build a real family with her, a stranger from the past shows up to claim custody. Will love be enough to hold them together, or will the system tear them apart? Stay with us, because what happens next will challenge everything you believe about family. Ethan Cole had built his fortune in silence. The kind of silence that echoed in luxury boardrooms and echoed louder in his penthouse suite overlooking Manhattan skyline. CEO of Cole International Resorts, he was known for two things: control and results. No time for mess, no room for chaos, and especially no tolerance for surprises. So, when the knock came on Suite 1701 at the Waxford Hotel in downtown San Diego, Ethan didn't flinch. Housekeeping, right on time. He barely looked up from his iPad as he muttered, "Come in." But what walked through the door wasn't the uniform cleaning lady he expected. It was a little girl, barely 7, thin as a whisper, her ponytail loose, wearing a shirt several sizes too big. In one hand, she clutched a worn-out gray rag, her eyes too calm for her age locked onto his. She didn't speak. "Excuse me," Ethan said sharply. "You're not supposed to be here. Where's Maria?" "She's sick," the girl replied, stepping inside like she belonged there. "I'm Lily. I'm cleaning today." He blinked. "You're what?" "I do it when she can't," she said matter-of-factly, already walking past him like she owned the air. "If I don't clean, we get kicked out." Ethan scoffed and reached for his phone. "You can't just show up and pretend you work here. You're a child. I'm calling security." She nodded. "Okay, I'll just mop real quick while they come." She knelt, filled the bucket like she'd done it 100 times, and began scrubbing the entry tiles. Not one complaint, not a glance up. She moved like it was just another Tuesday. He stood frozen. 3 minutes passed, then 10. Ethan had been in hostile takeovers, arbitration wars, and Wall Street board battles, but nothing had ever disarmed him like this. He canceled the security call without even realizing. "Who are you?" he asked at last, the words heavy in the air. She didn't look up. "I'm just helping Grandma. She works here." "Well, she used to." He left her in the suite and stormed downstairs. What he found in the basement utility closet made him stop breathing. An old woman lay on a cot behind a metal shelf stacked with bleach and folded towels. She was wrapped in a hotel-issued blanket, her face sunken with fatigue. Her name tag, faded and bent, still read Rose Thompson. She was let go months ago. The hotel manager stammered. She begged to keep the key. "We didn't know she stayed here. And the girl, we thought she just visited sometimes." Ethan said nothing. He only stared at the makeshift shelter. The single bed, the rusted fan, the bucket Lily had used every day to earn their keep. Back in the suite, Lily was still wiping the same section of floor. He walked in and sat down. "You always clean when she's sick?" "Not always," she said. "Only when she can't even stand." He studied her. "You're 7." She nodded. "Do you go to school sometimes?" "When we can." That night, Ethan Cole didn't go to dinner. He didn't return calls from Dubai. He sat alone, staring at a number on his phone, the number of his lawyer, but never pressed call. He wasn't sure what he'd even say. "I found a girl, not mine, but I can't let her go." 2 days later, Rose was admitted to a private clinic. Ethan covered everything: room, medication, long-term care. As for Lily, he moved her into the guest wing of his private suite. He bought her pajamas and a pink toothbrush. She didn't ask if she'd be staying long. That night, tucking her into a clean bed for the first time, he asked, "Weren't you scared when I called security?" She shrugged. "What's the worst that could happen? You'd throw me out." "What if I were a bad man?" She turned her head, eyes narrowed. "Bad men don't ask questions like that." The next morning, Ethan personally drove her to Hawthorne Elementary School. When asked for paperwork, he signed as her temporary guardian. The process that usually took days, he finished in an hour. That evening, Lily peeked at his phone. You never called them, she said quietly. Who? The people who were supposed to take me away. He paused, put the phone down. I decided to stay with you for now. She scooted closer. Can I ask something? Sure. Can I have a last name? He blinked. You don't have one? Only Grandma uses it. At school, they said I didn't have to write it. Which one would you want? She hesitated, then whispered. Yours, if that's okay. That night, Ethan Cole didn't sleep. He didn't make projections or run numbers. He thought of a child who never asked for help, only offered it. A girl who never begged to belong yet made him question if he'd ever truly lived. She was gone. The front door to the suite stood slightly ajar, swaying in the breeze from the hallway. Ethan Cole's chest tightened as he stepped inside, calling out, Lily? No answer. The toothbrush lay dry on the sink. The pajamas still folded, but the small, worn-out gray rag she always clung to gone. He felt the panic rising, not the kind he felt when stocks dropped or projects failed. This was different, raw, human. He raced down to the basement, heart pounding with every echoing step. There she was, curled up beside her grandmother's hospital cot at the private clinic, Herbert's system, back to the door, her small frame still. She hadn't run away. She hadn't gone far. But she had gone back to the only place that ever felt like home. Ethan didn't say anything. He sat down quietly next to her. I thought you were asleep upstairs, he said after a long silence. Lily didn't turn. She didn't eat today. He glanced at the untouched tray beside the bed. The nurses will take care of that. She's used to me, not them. You're a child, Lily. It's not your job to take care of everyone. She finally turned to face him. Then who will? He had no answer. Not one that would make sense to a little girl who had grown up believing love was earned, not given. Back at the hotel, she went to sleep without a word. No bedtime story, no questions, just silence. The next morning, the school counselor called. She's quiet, watchful, doesn't trust easily, the woman said over the phone. One of our students, a boy named Liam, made a cruel comment today. What did he say? Ethan asked, already gripping the phone too tightly. He told her she wasn't real, that nobody wanted her, that she didn't even have a last name. Ethan's blood ran cold. That night, he found her on the floor sketching with a blunt pencil, a stick figure of a girl holding hands with a tall man and a floppy-eared dog. Above it, in careful handwriting, my family. He sat beside her, watching. Did you draw that today? She nodded. That's us, me, you, and Buddy. He smiled faintly. I like it. She looked up. Can I still keep your name? Even if I mess up sometimes. Lily, he said, pulling her close. You can mess up all you want. That's what family's for. The days passed in awkward harmony. Ethan canceled trips, delegated meetings. Each night, he found himself sitting beside her bed, waiting for her breath to even out, listening to the small creaks of the world settling down. One afternoon, Lily came home with a list. I wrote what I want, she said. Ethan unfolded the paper. It wasn't toys or candy or Disneyland. It was simple. One day without your phone so we can cook pizza together, a Saturday walk with Buddy, to be called Lily Cole at school, and to know I'm not temporary. He didn't speak. He just picked up a pen and wrote beneath it. You're not. The next day, he met with his attorney and started the paperwork for permanent custody. You sure about this? The lawyer asked. There's no going back once it's official. I was never more certain of anything in my life, Ethan replied. Lily began to blossom. She laughed more. She started talking in class. She joined the school's art club and painted a mural of a house, a dog, a man in a suit holding a little girl's hand under the sun. At the bottom, in block letters, this is home. But just when life began to feel solid, real, permanent, reality knocked. Grandma Rose's condition worsened. It was quiet, steady, irreversible. The doctors didn't use big words. They just said, soon. Lily was the one who took it the hardest, though she didn't cry. She sat beside the hospital bed and held her grandmother's hand every day after school. She's tired, Lily whispered one evening. She says she's ready. Ethan nodded, eyes wet. Are you? No, she said, but I will be. Rose passed away peacefully one cold Sunday morning. No struggle, just a sigh. Lily didn't scream. She didn't break. She just held Ethan's hand tightly as they stood beside the bed. At the memorial, Ethan said only one thing. She wasn't just a grandmother. She was the first person to choose Lily. I'm honored to be the second. That night, Lily climbed into Ethan's bed for the first time, wrapped in her new pajamas, her eyes heavy. Can I still talk to her? She asked. Always, he said. Even if she doesn't answer, she will, just not with words. The following week, Ethan brought her to his office for the first time. She watched the people in suits moving like wind-up toys, focused on metrics and market shares. This is where you live when you're not home, she said. I used to, he replied, but not anymore. She paused, thinking, can I have a job here someday? He smiled. What would you want to do? I want to be in charge of making people smile, she said, like a director of happiness. He laughed, genuinely, deeply. I think you're already doing that. But just when the story felt like it had reached a soft landing, a letter arrived from the state. A distant relative of Rose's had emerged, someone claiming the right to custody. A cousin from Nevada, a stranger. Ethan's got twisted. He handed the letter to his lawyer. Can they take her away? The lawyer shrugged. Legally, they have grounds. But emotionally, ethically, this girl belongs with you. We'll fight it. He didn't tell Lily. Not yet, but she knew something had changed. She always knew. That night, she asked, Are we still us? He pulled her close. Yes, no matter what happens. The hearing was scheduled, and as Ethan tucked Lily into bed, her small voice broke the silence. If they make me leave, can I still be Lily Cole in my heart? He couldn't answer, not because he didn't know, but because his voice failed him. He just nodded, and she closed her eyes. As he sat in the dark, the weight of the world suddenly felt lighter, because it was no longer about the world. It was about one girl and one fight he would never lose. If it cost him his name, his empire, or every dollar in his accounts, he'd walk into that courtroom ready, because this wasn't business. This was love, and love doesn't negotiate. What would you do if someone tried to take away the one person who finally gave your life meaning? The hearing was set for 9 a.m. on a cloudy Thursday that seemed to hang heavier than most. Ethan Cole adjusted the collar of his suit in the mirror, but something felt different. Not out of place, just unfamiliar. Because this time, he wasn't preparing for a shareholder meeting or a merger or an investor pitch. He was preparing to fight for a little girl who had once walked into his life holding a rag and never asked for anything. Lily sat on the edge of the hotel bed, feet not touching the floor, sketchbook in hand. She wasn't drawing this time, just holding it like a shield. You don't have to be brave, Ethan said, kneeling in front of her. She looked down at him. But what if they say you're not really my dad? He hesitated. Then I'll tell them I am, because being a dad isn't just about names or papers. It's about choosing you every day. In the courtroom, the air was crisp, the judge unreadable, the lawyers efficient and cold. Across the aisle sat Judith Ramsey, a woman neither Ethan nor Lily had ever met, a cousin of Rose. She had filed for custody, citing family rights and biological connection. Her attorney stood tall as he addressed the court. Mr. Ethan Cole is a businessman, not a parent. He has no blood relation to the child and no prior experience raising children. Ms. Ramsey is the closest known living relative. Ethan sat silent for a moment, then stood. I didn't know how to be a father. I still don't know if I do, but I know Lily. I know how she cries without making a sound. I know the way she puts jelly on one side of her sandwich, never both. I know that she's been waiting for someone to stay. Not just visit, not just help, but stay. I don't have her blood, but I have her trust, and I'm not giving that up. He sat down. The judge looked at Lily. Would you like to say anything? The room shifted. Cameras clicked. Breath caught. Lily stood slowly, gripping something in her hand. The gray rag, clean, folded, stitched across it in uneven threads. I'm not a maid. I'm your daughter. She walked to the center of the room and held it out. I didn't know what a family was, but I know now. It's not someone who shares your name. It's someone who shows up. Ethan showed up. The judge leaned forward, quiet, then spoke. This court grants permanent custody to Mr. Ethan Cole. No fanfare, no applause, just Lily turned to Ethan, arms wide and running into his chest. Back at the hotel, everything looked the same. Same furniture, same view, same half-used bottle of shampoo by the sink. But everything felt different. They were no longer temporary. Over the next few months, life became messy in all the right ways. Lily had meltdowns about homework. Ethan forgot to pack her lunch twice. Buddy tore through the living room with muddy paws and destroyed 2 of Ethan's shoes. But they also had movie nights with popcorn and paint nights that ruined the table but filled the walls with joy. And on the first Sunday of spring, Lily said it again, "Dad," not loud, not dramatic, just in the middle of dinner. "Can you pass the salt, Dad?" And that was it. No ceremony, just life. One weekend, she entered a school writing contest. The prompt, "What makes a family?" She didn't tell Ethan what she wrote, just handed in the paper, smiled, and went back to coloring. A week later, the school called. "She won," said the principal. "We've posted on the main hallway." Ethan went to school alone, walked through the hall, and found her words on a big white poster surrounded by stars. "My family didn't find me in a cradle or shelter. He found me in a hotel hallway. I didn't have a name that matched his, but he didn't ask for one. He asked if I was okay, and then he stayed." Some people say love is something you're born into, but I think love is something that shows up. My dad isn't perfect, but he's here, and that's all I ever wanted. His eyes burned. That night, Lily curled up beside him on the couch. "You read it?" she asked. He nodded. "I did." "And you're not mad?" He laughed. "No, I'm proud. So proud, I don't even know how to say it. Can we do something to celebrate?" "Anything. Let's get a dog for Buddy. He's lonely." They both burst into laughter. Later that night, Lily placed a gray rag in a shadow box frame. She hung it on the wall outside her bedroom door. Beneath it, a plaque. "This is where everything changed." Years passed. Ethan slowly reduced his work schedule. He hired a team to handle the day-to-day. He started attending Lily's soccer games, her art shows, her school plays. He learned how to braid hair, badly, and how to bake cookies, worse. One summer evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyline, Lily asked, "Do you ever wish it had been different? That you'd had a real daughter from the beginning?" He reached over and took her hand. "I have one now, and that's all that matters." Time moved, but the feeling never faded. The moment when the door first opened, the look in her eyes, the rag in her hand. She had come into his life with nothing and gave him everything. Now, we want to hear from you. How did Lily and Ethan's story make you feel? Would you have fought for someone the way Ethan did? Or have you ever been that someone who just needed to be chosen? Let us know in the comments how this story touched your heart. If it moved you, comment the number 100 below so we know you're part of the people who believe in love that shows up. And tell us where you're watching from. Drop your country in the comments. Let's see how far the story travels. And if it meant something to you, please share it, because someone out there might need this reminder. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the one who opens the door and says,